Permit me, in the name of our party Congress, to express our thanks to all fraternal parties and organizations whose representatives have honored our party Congress by their presence, or who have sent our party Congress greetings of friendship, for their wishes for our further success and for their confidence. For us, this trust is especially valuable as it signifies their readiness to support our party in its struggle for a better future for the people, in its struggle against war, in its struggle to keep peace. It would be a mistake to believe that our party, which has become a mighty power, does not need more support. That would be wrong. Our party and our country need the continuous trust, sympathy, and support of fraternal peoples outside our borders, and will always need it. The special quality of this support lies in that every support of the peace endeavors of our party by each fraternal party simultaneously signifies the support of their own people in their struggle to keep peace. As the English workers in the years 1918 to 1919, during the armed attack of the English bourgeoisie on the Soviet Union, organized their struggle against the war under the slogan, "Hands off Russia," was a support. It was above all a support of the struggle of their own people for peace, and then also a support of the Soviet Union. If Comrade Torres or Comrade Togliatti declare that their people do not want to be led into a war against the people of the Soviet Union, then that is a support, above all a support for the French and Italian workers and peasants who struggle for peace, and then also a support of the peace endeavors of the Soviet Union. The special quality of the present support is thus explained that the interests of our party are not only not against the interests of the peace-loving people, but on the contrary, blend with them. Where the Soviet Union is concerned, its interest in the matter of world peace cannot be separated from the cause of peace in the whole world. It is understood that our party must do its duty by its fraternal parties and support them and their peoples in the struggle for liberation and in their struggle for keeping peace. This is what the party does. After the seizure of power by our party in 1917, and after our party took real measures to eliminate the yoke of capitalists and landlords, the representatives of the fraternal parties, inspired by our daring and the success of our party, gave it the name Shock Brigade of the revolutionary movement and the workers' movement of the world. Thereby they expressed the hope that the success of the Shock Brigade would alleviate the sufferings of the people in the situation of being under the capitalist yoke. I think that our party has fulfilled these hopes, especially in the time of the Second World War, as the Soviet Union smashed the German and Japanese fascist tyranny and liberated the European and Asian peoples from the danger of fascist slavery. Of course, it was very difficult to fulfill this honorable task as long as there was only one shock brigade, as long as it stood alone, the avant-garde in the fulfillment of this task. But that is in the past. Now it is completely different. Now from China and Korea to Czechoslovakia and Hungary, new shock brigades have appeared on the map in the form of people's democracies. Now the struggle has been eased for our party, and also the work proceeds better. Special attention must be paid to the communist, democratic, or worker and peasant parties that are not yet in power and which must carry out their work under the yoke of strict bourgeois rule. Of course, their work is more difficult. But their work is not so difficult as it was for us Russian communists in the time of the Tsar, as the smallest step forward was declared a serious crime. The Russian communists nevertheless held firm, did not retreat from difficulties, and came to victory. The same will be the case with these parties. Why is it that these parties do not have such difficult work as the Russian communists had in the times of Tsarism? Because first of all, they have the example of the struggle and success as in the Soviet Union and in the people's democratic countries before them. Consequently, they can learn from the mistakes and successes of these countries and thus ease their work. Because secondly, the bourgeoisie itself, the arch enemy of the freedom movement, has become different, has essentially changed, has become more reactionary, has lost the cooperation of the people, and thus has been weakened. It is understood that these circumstances must likewise ease the work of the revolutionary and democratic parties. Earlier, the bourgeoisie presented themselves as liberal. They were for bourgeois democratic freedom, and in that way gained popularity with the people. Now there is not one remaining trace of liberalism. There is no such thing as freedom of personality anymore. Personal rights are now only acknowledged by them, the owners of capital. All the other citizens are regarded as raw materials that are only for exploitation. The principle of equal rights for people and nations is trodden in the dust, and it is replaced by the principle of full rights for the exploiting minority and the lack of rights of the exploited majority of the citizens. The banner of bourgeois democratic freedom has been flung overboard. I think that you, the representatives of communist and democratic parties, must pick up this banner and carry it forward if you want to gain the majority of the people. There is nobody else to raise it. Earlier, the bourgeoisie, as the heads of nations, were for the rights and independence of nations and put that above all. Now there is no trace left of this national principle. Now the bourgeoisie sell the rights and independence of their nations for dollars. The banner of national independence and national sovereignty has been thrown overboard. Without doubt, you, the representatives of the communist and democratic parties, must raise this banner and carry it forward if you want to be patriots of your countries, if you want to be the leading powers of the nations. There is nobody else to raise it. That is how matters stand at present. It is understood that all these circumstances must ease the work of the communist and democratic parties that are not yet in power. Consequently, there is every ground for the success and victory of the fraternal parties in the lands of capitalist rule. Long live our fraternal parties. Long life and health to the leaders of the fraternal parties. Long live the peace between the peoples. Down with the arsonists of war.